you're like, I can't believe I'm doing this, but once you do it, you're like, oh my God, it's so fun.
With a troubled childhood and lack of treatment, he expressed his hatred of the world to his psychologists and therapists. But when that didn't work for him, he jotted down his anger in his personal journal. And on the 5th of June 2014, he unleashed it on the university. In this video, we're taking you through the chilling interrogation, or more specifically, the confession of Aaron Ybarra, and how his horrific acts got him 112 years in prison. This is Aaron Ray Ybarra, a troubled young man who grew up in a world filled with chaos and instability right from his earliest days. His father, Ambrose, was no stranger to trouble, with a history of 5 drunk driving convictions. Aaron himself struggled with alcoholism and dabbled in drugs, while his younger brother Joel fell prey to the grip of heroin addiction. Father and son were drinking buddies, often found at O'Hooley's pub and getaway tavern in Mount Lake Terrace. Ambrose often footed the bill for cabs to transport them to and from these drinking dens. Although Aaron managed to briefly abstain from alcohol for a month, the incarceration of his father after his 3rd DUI shattered his resolve, leading him back to the bottle. He claimed it was his way to, now quoting, cope with depression as a result of his father being incarcerated for his 3rd DUI. Amidst the turmoil, Aaron's mother, Janice, tirelessly worked to shield her family and maintain some semblance of control. She held down a job and shouldered the responsibilities of managing their home during her husband's spells behind bars. When Ambrose stumbled home in a drunken stupor, Janice would lend her support, guiding the 242-pound man back into their house. Both Aaron and his younger brother Joel developed a shared fascination with firearms. Even before they were old enough to legally acquire weapons, their resourceful mother stepped in, registering the firearms in her own name, as stated in one of her police statements. Aaron later found employment at a local gun range, spending years immersed in the world of firearms, while the 2 brothers nurtured a competitive streak as skilled shotgun shooters. She shared once that, quote, "They are competitive shotgun shooters and have always had access to the safe and have been very responsible." At least, that's what she thought. On the 5th of June 2014, Aaron drove to the campus of Seattle Pacific University and killed a then 19-year-old freshman named Paul Lee on a sidewalk outside Otto Miller Hall, and wounded a second man, Thomas Fowler. He then tried to shoot a female student, but his shotgun misfired and she ran away. He later walked into Otto Miller Hall and shot a then 22-year-old Sarah Williams as she walked down a flight of stairs. He pointed the shotgun at another student, but the gun misfired again, and he was tackled by John Mice, a student safety monitor, who doused him with pepper spray. 2 other students provided first aid to Williams, while another student ran into classrooms to warn others. He was apprehended by security and taken into custody immediately by the authorities. In the interrogation room, he sat rubbing his eyes, which hurt a lot since he was pepper sprayed by the safety monitor. After the interrogator helped him out with his eye condition and read him his rights, the interrogation begins.
Okay, what was the question?
Do you go to school there?
No, I don't. I wanted to, well, I'll explain, I know, but I'll explain when we move on.
Okay. Because I was talking to the patrol officer that brought you in here, and they're telling me you were telling them stuff about what happened today.
Yeah, when I got caught, I might as well just letting it all out.
Okay.
I was meaning to die.
Okay.
But I got caught instead.
Okay, so
are you gonna ask questions, or do you want me to just start explaining?
Why don't you start explaining?
This doesn't feel like an interrogation, and it's not. He knows he got caught. He knows there's no reason to hide. So, while he struggles with opening his eyes, he's about to open up about his past and explain his actions.
I grew up in a Christian home. My family's very Christian.
Okay.
I started off being that way. Then I had a high level of OCD since I was 13, and I was lonely growing up. I felt like I started to become psychotic or something, because I noticed I've been living in fantasy than reality. I made people want to hate me because I was part of their crew when I was really bugging them.
Okay.
And then because I kept going to the same spots over and over, because it was part of the routine, and I need certain belongings and certain routines to keep me sane. I don't know why, but it was just like that.
What do you mean belongings?
Like, I needed certain things for my routines, like my cologne, my bedroom furniture, and just certain things.
And that's what made your day normal?
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew if something affected that, it would automatically change my mental state. It made the compulsion go from good to evil, but I couldn't stop it, and I knew I couldn't treat it on my own. But the first time when I was 21, when my brother was doing drugs, he let his junkie friends come in, and one guy that kept bugging me, he took my cologne, which I used every day. I started to lose it and started making death threats, telling his acquaintances what I was going to do to him.
Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever had contact with the police in any of these times or anything like that?
No, I was just going insane. Well, not insane. I was just losing it. My OCD, I have requirements.
Mm-hmm.
I had to take it in my own hands to get the respect. Well, not just respect, but every situation had a price to pay.
What do you mean situation?
Like if someone threw off a routine or someone took something from me that I needed, there had to be a price to pay.
Have you ever hurt anybody before?
No. And I knew I was being safe about it. I stayed away from those kind of people because I was trying to be good.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I had a future to live up to, and I wanted to be the good guy.
Mm-hmm.
But my parents didn't understand what was going on with me. And when I was 23, I had my bed that I used for a while, but they didn't talk to me and wanted to work on it with me, and they took out the bedroom furniture because they said it had to go. I told them, wait. I told them not yet, and because it wasn't time yet, they just wouldn't listen. And then I started losing. I kept drinking daily. They ignored my drinking and told me to go to therapy. And it was all about therapy because.
Are you seeking anybody for any type of medical condition or anything like that right now?
As a mental?
Mental, physical?
I stopped seeing my psychotherapist because I couldn't afford it.
Who's that?
Samantha Good.
Is that person local?
Her office is in Eastlake.
While you might be thinking that OCD is not that big a deal, at least that's what we see portrayed by the media, severe OCD can, and I'm quoting here, impact someone's ability to work, go to school, run errands, or even care for themselves. With severe OCD comes the problem of avoidance. Avoidance from healing, talking, and even fixing. It should have been an early sign for the parents to treat their son's OCD, but by the time they talked about therapy, it had gone from mild to severe. We're not saying that OCD is untreatable, but it would have been fixed with therapy earlier if they had seen the signs.
Were you prescribed medication or anything like that?
Yeah, from my psychiatrist, Heidi Iwanski.
And what did she prescribe you?
Prozac and Risperdal. She diagnosed me with transient psychosis and OCD. But when she told me about OCD, I realized that it's on a higher level than what people really think. Like, I can't control myself no matter what's going on.
Okay.
I can't control my mental state. Even if I wanted help, I couldn't stop wanting to do the things that I've been planning on doing.
Okay. How long have you had these feelings?
The evil feelings or the good ones?
Oh.
Since I was 13, the good feelings until 23 when my stuff got taken away. My bedroom furniture got taken away.
So in the last 3 years, you've started having these bad feelings?
Yeah.
And can you describe the bad feelings to me?
I just felt nothing but hate, 100% hatred towards the world, towards everyone. I threatened to massacre the local bar once because I just wanted everything and everyone to die. And then Columbine came to mind. I don't know how, but it just hit me. When I was watching the news when I was a kid, Columbine, Eric Harris just came into my head, the mastermind of the shooting.
Right.
And I kept identifying with him ever since the past 3 years because he just made everything so exciting. He made hate so exciting.
In Columbine, they used explosives and stuff like that. Did you ever thought about that, or did that cross your mind?
I'm not smart enough to to go on the internet and figure out how to make bombs.
Okay.
I just go by my instincts of what I've learned.
Okay. And what have you learned?
How to shotgun, rifle, and pistol shooting.
Okay.
My family are marksmen.
Your mom and dad are?
Well, my dad and my brother are.
Okay.
At a time when his family is of zero influence, where they're not helping him out, and only becoming his cause to go berserk, he looks at the Columbine high school shooter and thinks that this person is someone relatable. In severe cases of OCD, it does become difficult to distinguish between right and wrong. And if you look at the story of Eric Harris and David Klebold, they both vented about personal problems, something that Aaron could have found relatable.
So you've had these bad feelings since about 23, the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Did you talk to this with your psychiatrist and your and Dr. Good too?
Yeah, I told them everything. They know a lot more than anybody than well, especially Samantha Good. She knows almost everything I've told her. We had a lot to talk about in the past 2 years.
Did they ever confine you or anything like that?
What do you mean?
Like involuntary commitment or anything like that?
Voluntarily commitment?
Yeah, like at a hospital to be evaluated or anything like that?
No, I refused. They suggested it, but I refused because I've been into the emergency room for drinking. It was uncomfortable being in a hospital.
I totally understand that part. So you talk about what you know as far as your family being marksmen. I mean,
the men in my family, yeah.
Okay. Does everybody own guns in your family?
Yeah. Most of them were stolen. When my brother was doing drugs, we also housed a charismatic psychopath, is what I like to call him, because he manipulated my family and he stole from us and made him think that it was my brother that did it. And
who was that?
his name was Jerron Bernal. He's in my private journal. I have a diary in my truck. I told the cops.
The white truck?
Yeah. Did you read it?
I haven't read it yet.
These dark feelings made me go from Christianity to admiring sadism, and that's when the hate started feeling really good, because I felt that God betrayed me. I'd been praying for him to help me, but I didn't feel like he didn't answer my prayers.
Now, at the start of this video, we showed you a quote that read, "God betrayed them like he betrayed me." That was taken from his personal journal where he expressed his deepest and darkest thoughts. We'll take you through those journal pages shortly.
The officers were telling me, you said something about that you planned that, and you told me this already, but that you've taken a tour of that campus?
Yeah, 2 Mondays ago. I manipulated these quite a few students, but I used 2 girls to give me a private tour. I didn't even have to ask. I acted like a transfer student, and the way I approached them made them want to give me a tour. Really helped me out. In my writings, I told her I would single her out for doing that because I didn't even have to ask. She just volunteered, so I showed a little more remorse for that.
Okay. Did she show you the whole campus?
As much as she knew.
Okay.
I mentioned her in my writings too. I showed remorse for her too. I told her I said I would single her out too.
She a science student also?
She told me she was into children's ed.
Oh, okay. So 2 Mondays ago, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
I even talked to the academic person. I manipulated him too. I was acting like I wanted to transfer there.
Where were you transferring from? Where was the story?
Edmonds Community College, where I was going a few years ago.
So this was academic advisor?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't really trying to get fame. I was really just trying to express my hate, how I really felt about the world.
In his journal entry on the 3rd of June 2014, he wrote that he would, quote, "single them out at the shooting if I see them." He also talked about the girls being, quote, "very nice, and they treated him well." Although his confession is obvious, the interrogator is now racking up the count of crimes against him. This manipulation of 2 girls to visit the university campus counts as a conspiracy to commit murder because of his false intent to shoot up the university. As his story goes on, the interrogator pieces together all the crimes that he's committed and the timeline of the event. He explains that he only scouted the first floor and not all the floors because he wanted to stay closest to the exits. After he scouted the corridors and planned everything, he came back a day before the shooting.
So this morning, when did you decide to do this morning? Or was it last week, or did you have this day in mind, or how'd you come up with this today, to start today?
I was trying to go with what Eric Harris was planning, like pick a day, but I couldn't do that. I wasn't as organized as he was.
Right.
So I just had to play it by ear, but I had to make sure I had to go before classes were out, because finals, people were getting ready for finals, and there's only certain days.
And how did you know they were having finals?
I got information from the academic person.
Okay.
And I snuck on information from other people, like my brother-in-law said he was going to Seattle U. I asked him when So he's on. I was being sneaky and said, so you're on finals this week? You said no, a couple of weeks, but that was last week.
Okay. And but you basically learned from the academic advisor 2 Mondays ago.
Yeah.
This would be finals week?
What? I think next week was supposed to be finals week, or this week, but I had to go before I knew it was too late.
Okay.
If I knew it was too late, then I would wait over the summer and then go into sometime in the fall.
Okay. So this was kind of your last shot before the school vacated, right?
Yeah, and I wanted to get out of this world so bad that I was like, I can't wait anymore. I can't attack Wazoo or Central. I'm just gonna go local and use what I have, because I've been trying to save up for the right weapons, the right equipment, and I was trying to be well organized, but my OCD kept making me want to spend more money, and I was disorganized with that.
Do you have other weapons or anything like that? I mean, is there more stuff in the truck that, when I look in the truck, am I going to find more weapons?
No, I'm being honest. I'm a man of my word, even ask my friends.
And at your house, do you have other weapons at your house, at your mom and dad's house?
No, they got stolen from Jerron. They got the first kid that I hit out in the outside of the building.
Right.
He kind of looked like him. At first, it's like, have you heard of the story about Alyssa Bustamante, the girl who killed her 9-year-old neighbor?
Yeah.
That's kind of like what she said. You're like, I can't believe I'm doing this, but once you do it, you're like, oh my God, it's so fun.
Now, to those of you who don't know, Alyssa Bustamante murdered her 9-year-old neighbor, Elizabeth Olton, just for fun, because she wanted to know what it was like. It seems as if Aaron has really put a lot of thought into this. He referred to Eric Harris as the mastermind of all shooters, which is a horrific title to begin with, but it also shows you how much he idolized him. To him, shooting up the school was an act of redemption for how cruel the world is, or more appropriately, how cruel his world is. Now he finally reveals the incidents of the day.
And the guy, you mean today, the first guy you shot at?
First guy I shot at. I was so pissed at him because he didn't take me seriously. I hate it when people disrespect me, but I can't let out I'm incapable of letting out my true feelings. But I first felt I was able to get respect once I made that first shot.
Well, I want to get to that too, and I want you to explain that to me in detail. But
I might not be the way I wanted to put it, but it's going to be something like that, yeah.
I'm still at the point where you broke the shotgun down, you got 75 rounds. Yeah. You bought all that yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
I bought that weeks ago. I hid it in my room. I knew my parents would respect my room, and I hid bolt cutters there because when I was going on my rant about killing people when I was on my issues,
right?
And so my parents locked them up, and I broke the lock. It had some metal on it, so.
Okay. So you only have that shotgun. You brought that knife. You broke the shotgun down, but you reassembled it in your truck.
Yes.
So what time did you leave your house today?
I got on a slow start. I left around 2:15, but there's a little bit of traffic, and I was getting ready around 12:30, getting ready for the day. I delayed my time because my brother called, and I called him back. He didn't suspect a thing. I didn't even act suspicious. I didn't even feel remorse for what I was about to do. I didn't even feel for how my loved ones felt. It's true what they say. I even wrote this in my journal. It's true what they say. When you go through a lot of stress at a period of time, you start to lose emotion and not feel anything.
Okay.
It's a big change that I felt.
Let me ask you this: the first guy you shot him when he turned his back on you?
Yeah.
How close were you to him?
I was just about 15, 20 feet.
Okay. And the girl that was coming down the stairs, how close were you to her?
12, 15 feet.
Okay. And you saw other women behind her?
Yeah.
Okay. And but you were targeting the gal that was laughing at you?
Yeah.
Okay. But with dove shot, right?
Yeah.
Steel, with a 32-inch barrel, it's probably a big pattern, huh?
Yeah. It goes out farther. The longer the barrel, the longer it'll go out.
You've shot the shotgun before, haven't you?
I'm well experienced with shotguns and rifles.
Okay. Why? I have a curious question. Why birdshot versus like double aught or something like that?
Double aught. They're just only 6 rounds in buckshot.
Right.
When it spreads, it won't go. The pattern won't be as close as you want.
Right.
Then you have to shoot, and only one lead ball will hit, but it won't be a big impact as much as a 30-06 rifle would.
Right.
But if you do a lead shot, a bird shot at close range, that will disintegrate a human face.
True.
To those of us who aren't familiar, a bird shot is designed for hunting and small game hunting, and it consists of smaller pellets. It's not that lethal, but if you're in close range, it can cause damage. A buckshot fires larger pellets, but fewer in quantity. They have more gunpowder and higher recoil, which means there's higher penetration and range. Aaron described that all his kills were bird shots. He also stated that those who didn't take him seriously and laughed at him were the first to get shot and killed. This is another trait of his OCD, which is his compelling need to be respected. People with severe OCD can't tolerate disrespect and can take such crazy measures to silence the disrespecter. In his journal, he wrote about an incident where his junkie brother couldn't pay for the drugs, so one of the goons robbed their house. He was angry at his brother's actions so much that he wrote that, quote, "I want to cut him and secretly sell him to supermarkets." And he also said, quote, "I don't care, drugs or no drugs, if he would have been a lot nicer to me, respected me, and not bugged me, I would have helped him out more." His need to be respected compelled him to kill even more mercilessly. After he's done talking about the ammo purchase, which can be traced to him, he now talks about the security.
The security sprayed you with pepper spray?
Yeah.
Okay, as you were reloading?
Yeah, I could have got away with it if I knew my barrel was, if I knew my bottom barrel was a dud,
Right.
and also if I knew I would have broken in more, because the shell won't go in if the barrel is not, if you don't break it open all the way.
And where's the shotgun now?
Police have it.
Okay. Did you see the police take it?
No, but they put it in a room. I know they have it somewhere.
Oh, okay. But it's there at the scene?
Yeah.
Okay. So the school security pepper sprayed you, and how soon after they sprayed you did the cops show up?
They were pretty quick, faster than I expected. It was probably about minutes, probably about maybe 4 to 6 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it felt like. I don't know the exact time. Well, no disrespect, but the way it felt, just, I don't know, feeling that hateful power, just when I heard the SWAT team was there, it just made me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
But that was me feeling my hate.
When did you hear the SWAT team was there?
The officer said that the SWAT team was there, and they had their keys or something.
Oh, okay. Well, what if you ran into the SWAT team guys?
Well, if I had to, I've been wanting to die, so they gave me no choice. I have no choice but to shoot at them to get them to kill me.
Mm-hmm.
Main priority was to die, but I had to pay the price somehow.
Right.
It was just a requirement. My OCD just gets to me.
Okay.
It's like extreme or something.
Sit tight for a second. Do you need anything else, water or anything like that?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm going to get parents' information.
I got it
Oh,
right.
you got it. Okay.
I'm sure my friends will be really hurtful, but I'm going to be nothing but scum to them now.
Well, yep, we'll see.
He didn't plan on living long enough to feel himself getting detained by the security, getting interrogated by the detectives, or even seeing his parents' disappointment. The last entry of his journal would have been a suicide note had he killed himself. He wrote that, quote, "I just want people to die, and I'm going to die with them. I'm not asking for forgiveness because there won't be any, but it is what it is. I'm doing some people a favor by sending them to heaven. But those who are sinners like me, I'll see you in hell."
The OCD, you were kind of, and I'm asking because I don't understand it. I don't know much about it. Is there any other examples that you can tell me about that would really get under your skin?
If I get hit or anything, then I have no choice but to kill them. So that's why I've been backing down from fights and all that.
Okay. So
People started not to take me seriously or anything. When I said I would mess somebody up, I didn't mean fighting. I meant sadistically.
Okay. And you've never hurt anybody before?
I never wanted to.
His severe OCD compels him to not confront. Remember how we told you that avoidance becomes a serious problem? Well, He avoided confronting those who disrespected him, and that led him to keep his anger within himself, which ultimately fueled his desire to hate the world. Afterward, they took a mugshot of him, changed his clothes, and asked him a few more questions about the incident. Following this, the interrogation was over, and the detectives had everything they could need to move to the conviction. Even with this hour-long confession, the court was taken to trial, because Aaron's defense was that he was mentally ill at the time. That's why he pled not guilty by reason of insanity. Ybarra expressed remorse, stating, quote, "I wish I could take back what I did, but I can't," before he received his sentence. The trial featured testimonies from Ybarra, as well as John Mice, a student and safety monitor hailed as a hero for subduing the gunman during the shooting. During the trial, Mice described waiting for the shooter to reload his shotgun, retrieving pepper spray from his backpack, and spraying him in the face twice. Defense attorney Ramona Brandes aimed to demonstrate during the trial that Ybarra suffered from a severe mental illness and had limited intellectual capacity. Brandes also argued that Ybarra believed that he was following divine guidance to commit the shooting. However, prosecutors countered by asserting that the crime was premeditated and that Ybarra was aware of the wrongfulness of his actions. While acknowledging Ybarra's mental illness, prosecutors maintained that his actions were motivated by hatred and anger, and that he comprehended the wrongful nature of his deeds. In the sentencing phase, Judge Rogers criticized the state's inadequate mental health system. Nevertheless, he pointed out that Ybarra deliberately chose to cease taking his medications because he, quote, wanted to feel his hate. Furthermore, Ybarra kept his plans concealed, even from those who could have offered assistance. In November of 2017, Aaron Ybarra was found guilty by a jury of first-degree murder, 3 counts of attempted murder, and 1 count of assault. He was sentenced to 112 years in prison. The judge had no reason to fall for his insanity plea because every piece of evidence pointed to the fact that this was premeditated. We'd also like to point out this brave man's heroic act and how, in such an intense situation, he was able to dismantle the shooter before any more kills went under his name. We're also sad about how Seattle Pacific University had no connection or reason to be targeted, yet the students had to witness such a tragic attack from an outsider. But we're glad to see that the SPU community is growing stronger with new security measures every single day. This is how an unstable 26-year-old who exacted his revenge on the world became the unfortunate SPU shooter and got himself 112 years in prison. Thanks for watching.